Hello and welcome to Xperience Realty. My name is Tarun. There is nothing more expensive than a missed opportunity. Ask those who passed on a signature villa or a tip plot in 2005. Till this day, they replay those scenes of not signing on the dotted line, as these decisions were not about missing a home. These decisions were about missing or foregoing an opportunity to transform the fortunes of their family. As they say, past is history, future is a mystery, now is a gift, hence called the present. Let's be very honest. Who does not like gifts? For those who let the opportunity slip through their fingers, redemption is here. Another chance, a second wind, a sure short way to cement your legacy in the story of your family as someone whose vision, that one decision, and that one signature was the catalyst for generational abundance. Because that plot, that 90,000 square foot plot which you bought in 2011, in 2025 transacted for 365 million dirhams. By now, I'm sure your curiosity is spiked, as you want to know what is this opportunity that I'm alluding to. Well, the only cost of discovery at your end is your precious and finite time. And you have my word, I will make every second worth your while. In a market where in 2024 alone, prices grew by 19%, taking the total growth since November 2020 to 65.5%, projects that can create generational wealth are rare. Because real estate at its core is not about brick and mortar. It's about vision of planting a seed today that matures into a tree whose shade will shelter your children and their children after them. And when it comes to vision and the potential to deliver enduring wealth, few developments rival Palm Jebel Ali. As today, you can buy a beachfront villa at 2,800 dirhams per square foot, which has all the potential to double up in the next 4 to 5 years. And this isn't borrowed rhetoric from the legacy of Palm Jumeirah. It is rooted in fundamentals. Palm Jebel Ali sits at the very heart of Dubai's Vision 2040 and the 2033 economic agenda, the blueprint of the city's future growth. The purpose of this video is not about just validating Palm Jebel Ali as an investment and giving it the stamp of approval, because truth be told, Palm Jebel Ali cannot be justified by numbers alone. No matter how attractive they may look, if you look at it in that light, then probably it might even appear as a project which has been done to ensure prestige and to flatter the balance sheet. But if you're doing that, then you're missing the bigger picture. Palm Jebel Ali is not an ordinary development. It is a bold act of economic engineering, a cornerstone in Dubai's grand design. It is a master stroke that propels this city from being world-class to be the #1 city to be living in the world. Now that I've been waxing lyrical about the potential of Palm Jebel Ali, it's also crucial to recognize the force or the vision behind the project. It is none other than the indubitable master of the realm of the sea, Nakheel. Back in the 2000s, when the other developers were busy cashing in on Dubai's new freehold laws, Nakheel did something what the others would not dare to do. They embarked on an audacious and capital-intensive mission of reclaiming land from the sea to craft an artificial archipelago in the form of a palm. This bold stroke was not just a development. It was Dubai's declaration to the world that it had arrived on the global tourism and real estate stage. Fast forward 2 decades, Palm Jumeirah today stands as a crown jewel, home to some of the finest hotels, ultra-luxury apartments, villas, quality retail and leisure. This is not just another community. It is the most priced real estate in this city. Nakheel was founded to innovate and redefine urban living. With Palm Jumeirah, they executed the government's vision to perfection. Back then, the purpose was to dazzle and schmooze and spark Dubai's global affair. Today, Nakheel is back at it again. This time around, the collaboration is not about spectacle. It is about accommodating the future which is envisioned by the urban master plan. Palm Jebel Ali technically represents the apogee of waterfront development. Now, water makes 70% of our planet and is intrinsic to our constitution as well. Yet, true beachfront and waterfront developments remain the scarcest and the rarest of real estate in Dubai. And owning a beachfront villa in Dubai is not a mere possession. It is a validation of your status, your vision, and your power. Now, before we set sail into the promise of Palm Jebel Ali, it is very important to understand the performance and dynamic of this market, as this very market in the future will define the value of the villa that we are looking to own. So who drives the luxury market? It is the millionaires and the billionaires who are moving to this city by the hordes. This year alone, UAE is set to welcome another 9,800 millionaires who are relocating to this country. Dubai today counts 86,000 millionaires, 251 centimillionaires, and 23 billionaires, cementing its position as the fourth in terms of concentration of millionaires and billionaires in EMEA, trailing only to London, Paris, and Milan. Going at this rate, Dubai is supposed to overtake all of these cities by 2040. Think about it. Why would someone who is so well-rooted, well-heeled, want to relocate? It is not only stemming from safety, infrastructure, security, ease of doing business, and the tax benefit. The reason is much more profound. The real magnet is the fairly reasonably priced residential prime real estate in Dubai, which is the major magnet. In $1 million today in Dubai, you can acquire 982 square foot of prime real estate. This way, Dubai is dwarfing cities like London, New York, Hong Kong, and Singapore, which it has left in its wake. Why? Because today, Dubai has accounted for 435 transactions to the tune of $10 million and above. This is the maximum. And by the way, we have been doing this for the last 3 years. So we've held the crown for 3 years. And the second place city, which has the maximum number of transactions, happened to be New York at 267 transactions only. So you can clearly see the millionaires and billionaires have voted, and the resounding result is that Dubai is the #1 destination for relocation. Now, this accessibility to Dubai has had a profound impact on the available inventory, where in the prime and the super prime segment, the listings or the availability is plummeting. For prime homes which are priced at $10 million, the listings have plummeted by 40%. The count has come down from 4,119 units available all the way down to 2,491 units which are available today for these millionaires and billionaires. The situation is more stark when we look at the super prime segment, because there the listings have gone down by 80%. So when there was 583 homes available, today there are only 86 homes available for these guys to have a go at. The decision and the vote is unanimous. Dubai is thriving. Now, going at this, you need to see another aspect of this, which is that now this market cycle is not about speculation. The buy to flip activity, which was the reason for the price volatility that we happen to have in the near past. Today, ultra high net worth individuals who are looking at moving to Dubai, they are buying a second home or their prime home in this city. 74% of the high net worth individuals want to acquire a beachfront mansion in Dubai, which leaves the golfing communities at 17%, way behind the beachfront mansions. So their decision is clear. They want to come to Dubai and they want a piece of this azure blue sea to be theirs. What is it that these guys are buying these properties for? So 67% of those who are worth between $30 to $50 million are buying a prime home in Dubai to use as a residence. Okay. Now those who are worth $50 million and above, 57% want to buy a prime address in this city. And these are all not my numbers. These are Knight Frank Redin Destination Dubai Report 2025 for the H1. So the luxury market in Dubai, it is thriving. The question really is, will you understand and act before the numbers stop making sense? Or you will wait when $1 million invested in Dubai will get you 230 square feet of prime real estate as in Hong Kong or 344 square foot as in Singapore. Well, with me around, I doubt it that is going to be the case, because I will make sure that if you have the intent, then this city will be your address which you will call your home for the near and foreseeable future. And in order to get more perspective and clarity, I have broken down this video into 4 segments, which is all encompassing, where we will break down this investment comprehensively on the 4 aspects which will leave nothing for guesswork. So we go to my office where I'm going to use my loyal and trusted screen to give you guys crystal clear perspective. So follow me to my office. Back in the comfort of my office, I'm going to take you through the 4 aspects of investing in Palm Jebel Ali, which in my humble opinion are very relevant. Early on in my career, when I was cutting my teeth in real estate, my boss always told me, any real estate investment, if you put it on these paradigms and these parameters, then the margin of error is minimal. And as they say, the boss is always right. Till date, this has been the biggest learning of my career. So what are these 4 aspects that I have been waxing lyrical about? The first happens to be the location. The second happens to be a concept, which is again something which I have been covering in a lot of my videos. Then the third will be the aspect of livability. If I don't fancy living in a property, then highly likely finding someone else who would be motivating to buy it or rent it from me is going to be challenging. And then last but by no means the least is the aspect of capital appreciation. So without much ado, let's start with the first one, that is the location. Now, today the location of Palm Jebel Ali may raise brows. People may call it distant, they may call it far away, it's in the middle of nowhere or a proverbial no man's land, and they will say that this is too far away from downtown, which I agree with. Yes, it is far away from downtown, but not so long ago, downtown itself was a military cantonment, and Dubai Marina, which again is a prime area in Dubai, used to be the furthest most outpost of this city. The similar transformation is happening at this very location, which we call Palm Jebel Ali. So, in Dubai, the growth and all the future development is written in the Vision 2040 and D2033 economic agenda. As per the Vision 2040, the city will be having 5 urban centers, which will anchor a majority of the growth of the city, which are emblazoned on this map. Yeah, there is a 6th urban center which will be right at the foot of Palm Jebel Ali, which will continue to be developed beyond 2040. Yeah, so proximity to 2 urban centers is a big plus. Besides that, what does Vision 2040 tell us? Vision 2040 tells us 400% expansion of the beachfront and 134% expansion of the hospitality footprint. Now, what area will be contributing the most to that? No points for guessing. It is Palm Jebel Ali again, with 80 hotels and resorts, and you will be shocked. 90 kilometers of beachfront will be added to Dubai's coast by Palm Jebel Ali alone. So this will be actually a catalyst for tourism to be moving to this side of Dubai. With 80 resorts and 90 kilometers of a beachfront, you are talking about something that contributes 13% to Dubai's economy, that is tourism, 13% GDP contribution. This will be doubled by 2033 because we want to double our economy. The tourism also needs to be doubled. So Palm Jebel Ali will be a major contributor there. So it is steeped in the Vision 2040. Then proximity to the two urban centers. As I was telling you earlier, what are urban centers? They will have the maximum concentration of jobs, city-centric amenities and services. So imagine the government is developing residential areas around this entire belt here and everywhere, because when people will start working here, they will need accommodation. So what better accommodation will they have than Palm Jebel Ali? Now looking at this urban center of Expo City Dubai, this is a economic engineering masterstroke. You are talking about a GVA of 154.6 billion dirhams, which will be, done in the 20 years that the expo has been on since. Okay, so since 2020 until 2042, this will be the GVA that expo will be doing. A majority of this, that is 96.2 billion dirhams, will be done in the next 15 years. So that is a lot coming to the economy from this center. Then in that process, they will be creating 1.09 million jobs. So going back to my rhetoric of more jobs, this is what is going to happen in an urban center. Now about this urban center, although it features in the structural plan of Vision 2040, there is not too much clarity about, but this is an urban center which will continue to be developed beyond 2040. Now coming back to the other growth operators that are here, then we cannot ignore something that is the backbone or the spine of Dubai's economy, which is Port Jebel Ali and Jafza. Now why Port Jebel Ali and Jafza are so important? Together in 2023, they did 713 billion dirhams of non-oil trade. Yeah, that is what their contribution to the GDP was. Together, them both, Palm Jebel Ali and Jafza, they create 1 million jobs directly and indirectly, which is 27% of total employment in this city. Then Jafza again happens to be home to 11,000 companies. Out of them, 100 are Fortune 500 companies. So more momentum, more steam on this front, and the proximity to Palm Jebel Ali, it cannot be questioned. Similarly, this is the future aerotropolis that is again taking shape in close proximity to Palm Jebel Ali, only 15 minutes away, and it is going to create a lot of jobs and will be contributing majorly to the economy. Even without operation, by 2030, the airport construction will only have created a GVA of 6.1 billion dirhams, and in that process they will create another 132,000 jobs. So you can very well understand more jobs. Any which ways, aviation and trade, they are the bedrock or the mainstays of Dubai's economy. Now growth on the aviation front has been phenomenal. Emirates Airlines, along with Dubai Airports and other subsidiary entities, today in 2024, last year rather, contributed 27% to the GVA, which was 136 billion dirhams. Yeah. And by the way, this is projected to grow by 2030 to 196 billion dirhams, and it will be 32% of the GDP. In this process, they will also be creating an additional 816,000 jobs, which technically means 1 in every 4 people in Dubai will be employed in the aviation or related sectors. So you can see that there is a lot of economic activity in the form of trade, aviation, logistics happening here. We cannot ignore this belt. This is DIC. This has been a turnaround standout story. This is where the industrial revolution is happening in Dubai, again in sync with D2033 economic agenda. So you are looking at a 10% increase in the new companies that are operating from DIC today, which by the way have gone up to 1100 in counting. And the manufacturing units in fact had a 16% increase, which again are today pegged at 350 manufacturing units. Now, along with initiatives like Make It in the UAE, DIC is fast emerging as a leading industrial hub in Dubai. So you can understand a location which is already rich in trade, aviation, logistics will have the industrial might added very soon. Then something that is pivotal, and I can go on about this, that is the location proximity to the capital, which is home to one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world. Yeah. Now, we know Abu Dhabi has been growing and developing. Today, they have reached a point where it is only 15 minutes away from Palm Jebel Ali, called Ghantoot. We know that Saadiyat is soon coming up as the cultural hub with 5 premier international museums that will be gracing that development. Yas already has Ferrari World and the water parks operational. Disney will be jumping the bandwagon very soon. And all of those destinations are only 45 minutes away from Palm Jebel Ali, which will be a hotspot for tourism, by the way, on itself as well. Then we cannot miss out on the proximity to 2 airports in the form of Zayed Airport and Al Maktoum Airport, which is 15 minutes away. Zayed Airport only 45 minutes away from this location. So, in my humble opinion, Palm Jebel Ali as a location gives you best of both the worlds. It gives you Dubai's dynamism and it gives you the financial flex or the financial heft of cultural and financial heft of Abu Dhabi. So my thinking says that this is a cracking location, and in lieu of that, the real question should not be actually how far is Palm Jebel Ali from downtown. The question should be, will there be a need to go to downtown in the near future? So I feel we are set to explore the next aspect of this investment decision, which will be concept. Now that Palm Jebel Ali does not seem to be remote or distant, let's look at the next aspect, which is the concept. Now, time immemorial, I have been championing the cause of investing in concepts. If you enter into a concept in a nascent or a formative stages, then the upside can be phenomenal. And why am I championing this cause? It's very simple. Because of the scale, the outlay, and the vision that is involved into getting these concepts off the ground, there is only a handful of sagacious and reputed developers who can deliver, maintain, and nurture these concepts. So even if the same developer wants to do a reiteration of the concept they did in the past, technically it will be at least 20 years apart. Case in point will be Palm Jebel Ali. It took Nakheel over 20 years to bring Palm Jebel Ali to the forefront after they had done Palm Jumeirah. So technically, if you invest in a concept, there is no competition for the near and foreseeable future. Yeah. Now, in order to galvanize your belief in concepts and for you to be motivated to, invest in a concept, I think numbers and facts and nuances will give you the best possible motivation. So what we will do is I will highlight 3 communities on this very map. So I'll be using Jumeirah Island as a reference point. I'll be using Palm Jumeirah as a reference point, and I'm going to be using District 1 as a reference point. Now these 3 communities have the same hands behind them, Nakheel. District 1 was done by Maidan, but they are officially under the Nakheel umbrella now. So it is the same developer. All of these 3 communities had a similar theme running through them, which was water. In District 1, it was in the form of an azure blue lagoon, which made sure that the vistas of the Caribbean are here in Dubai. In Jumeirah Island, you had concentric loops of villas which were around a lake. And then Palm Jebel Ali gives you the uninterrupted vistas of the Arabian Gulf. So they all have the same DNA of water running through them. Now, whoever entered into these concepts in a formative or a nascent stage, they did their investment cause a world of good. How? So I'll start with District 1, which is the new kid on the block in my terminology, because it happens to be the youngest community amongst 3. So anyone who invested in District 1 in 2014, entered at 1400 dirhams per square foot. Today, the same villas are selling up to 3200 dirhams per square foot. And praise the Lord if you can find a 4-bed with no frills attached for less than 24 million dirhams. Yeah. So you can see the upside is phenomenal. Okay. Similarly, anyone who invested in Jumeirah Islands back then in 2008, today is sitting on 3900 dirhams per square foot, which is the bare minimum. And guess what? It was launched at 550 to 600 dirhams per square foot. Similarly, the Dubai real estate market is plastered with examples of Palm Jumeirah. People have had up to 1100% capital appreciation. The signature villas on the Palm, they were selling for 5.8 million. Today, they are transacting in their derelict and dilapidated state for nothing less than 55 to 60 million dirhams. So you can see the upside. Yeah. Now, the numbers or the appreciation of Palm Jumeirah should be reason enough for you to invest in Palm Jebel Ali, yeah? Because they are pretty similar, they are identical concepts, the same hands and the same force is behind both of these concepts. So technically, this should be motivation enough for you. But again, to drive home the point, I will say that how do you measure success in real estate? Yes, average growth, average per square foot growth is great. Rental growth is something that we look at. We also look at the concentration of $1 million homes. And on all these fronts, Palm Jumeirah is unrivaled. Yeah, it is unrivaled. No one comes close to it. Because when I say about price increase, last year alone, 15% price increase or price appreciation, average per square foot price went up by 15%, which drove the prices up to 7,231 dirhams per square foot. Okay. The rental upside or the rental growth here was the highest in any prime areas in Dubai, 25%, taking the total rental growth up to average rental up to 1.56 million dirhams. And then when I talk about the highest concentration of $1 million homes, Palm Jumeirah again leads the pack with 9,071 homes above $1 million. Those are some real mean figures. On another note, if I say that the highest number of transactions which are above $10 million, last year alone, Palm Jumeirah had 127 transactions which were above 10 or $10 million. Yeah. And guess what? That was 29% of the total market of $10 million homes. So it has a significant or the largest chunk of the $10 million market. And year until date for H1 of 2025, 62 transactions and still going strong. Now, you guys will be surprised. Guess what? Who is following closely to Palm Jumeirah when it comes to the highest number of sales of $1 million homes? The Prodigal Heir is rising on the legacy of Palm Jumeirah, that is Palm Jebel Ali, where 39 transactions to the tune of $10 million and above were recorded in 2024. Now, Palm Jumeirah and Palm Jebel Ali, they have the same DNA, okay? In that, they are fairly identical, okay? But in terms of scale, Palm Jebel Ali surpasses Palm Jumeirah. This is 2 times the size, spanning 13.66 square kilometers compared to 5.65 square kilometers of Palm Jumeirah. Yeah. And to be very honest, Palm Jebel Ali was built to refine and, surpass Palm Jumeirah. So if you look at the master plan, there are similarities in that they both are reclaimed islands which are shaped in the shape of a palm, okay? It is an archipelago, basically, interconnected islands, which are in the shape of a palm. But I feel the similarities end there because when you look at Palm Jumeirah, although for all its glitz, glam, there were some inherent flaws which required retrofittings. For example, the water circulation in Palm Jumeirah was a bone of contention. It has already been fixed in Palm Jebel Ali. There are 4 indents which span 250 meters, thereby ensuring enough circulation, and the problem of stagnant water is a thing of the past, and you have a near beach experience on this island. Similarly, the entry and exit to Palm Jumeirah could be a choke point because there is only one entry and exit for a 5.65 square kilometer master plan. Here you have 3 entries and exits planned for Palm Jebel Ali already. So the movement of traffic is going to be seamless. Yeah. Similarly, if you think of Dubai, I always think of innovation, sustainability, and an ecosystem like none other. On this front, Palm Jebel Ali will lead the pack because it is the blueprint for the future of Dubai. And when I talk about the future of Dubai, it is steeped in sustainability. So in Palm Jebel Ali, 20% of all trips will be used making alternative transport means, okay? 30% of all electricity which will, power the public realm will be all sourced from sustainable sources. 100% of the pathways along Palm Jebel Ali will all be shaded. So you can understand Dubai is encouraging you to walk, use alternative means of transport, and this is the blueprint of that. Even better, all the beaches on Palm Jebel Ali are built to blue flag certification. Now that is something splendid for Dubai, where we have only a handful of blue flag certified beaches. This will boast at least 2 blue flag certified beaches. Then wildlife or marine life will be conserved here because the Jebel Ali Marine Sanctuary has been reinstated. The hawksbill turtle will find a new home, and along with the coral reef transplantation that is happening along the coast of Dubai, this will be the zenith of conversation and sustainability in Dubai. Now, innovation. When I talk about innovation, it is hardwired into the DNA of this development with unique features like, autonomous mobility, biophilic design, upgraded cooling systems which do not create that much of a carbon footprint, and the 3D coral printing for the reefs. They all propel this to the next level of development. So when we talk about the pinnacle of coastal living, that is what Palm Jebel Ali will represent. Now, for you lot who understand the importance of entering into a concept in a nascent stage, this is your chance. Grab it by the scruff of the neck, because at 2,800 dirhams per square foot, this villa is a bargain, because you've seen on the screen what prices the other communities are trending at. And then if you understand, today you can only buy this villa at 2,800 dirhams per square foot because of the vision and the foresight of Nakheel and the Dubai government. They understood way beyond time that Dubai will need a development like this. Millionaires and billionaires will flock here. They will want houses. And they came up with this. Imagine reclaiming the land for Palm Jebel Ali today. Then buying a villa for 2,800 dirhams per square foot will only be a figment of your imagination. So on terms of concept, Palm Jebel Ali is spot on. In fact, it actually goes above and beyond legacy of Palm Jumeirah. The third aspect that we will assess this investment opportunity in Palm Jebel Ali would be that of livability. Now, livability is very important. Bona fide investors as well as prospective homeowners value this aspect immensely. And livability is something that will drive value in the future. Why? Because simply put, if I'm buying a property today which I do not fancy as my residence, then finding someone who will buy it from me as an investor or someone who will rent it for me as a prospective home seeker, it will be difficult to come by, because no one would fancy to live in a house which is not resplendent. Yeah. So livability becomes really important. And what does livability stem from? Livability stems from three aspects. The number one is density, the number two is layouts, and number three is the concentration of amenities. As long as these three are covered, livability will have a resounding tick right next to it. Okay. In the case of villas, when we are looking at villas exclusively, density is of the utmost importance. You have noticed villa communities that are low density will always carry the maximum value. Why? Because it gives privacy and exclusivity, and value will be driven from there. There is a direct relationship between demand and yield. The higher the demand, the better the yield will be. So, if you are looking at density, and I again will go back to comparing Palm Jumeirah with Palm Jebel Ali, and I wanted to set this and put this out there because it's very important. It's not that I want to glorify Palm Jebel Ali. Palm Jebel Ali is only an evolution or a metamorphosis of Palm Jumeirah into a refined and a scaled version of its predecessor. It does not take the sheen of Palm Jumeirah that we are saying Palm Jebel Ali is a more complete version. These two projects are unprecedented, and in lieu of that, they cannot be compared to anything else. So I will keep going back to the comparisons between Palm Jumeirah and Palm Jebel Ali just to give you perspective about why is Palm Jebel Ali a great investment opportunity today. Now coming back to the density where I was going at, if you look at the density, then in Palm Jebel Ali, which this area where the fronds are, this spans around 389 hectares. So 389 hectares means 3.89 square kilometers. Yeah, we're looking at a development which is 3.89 square kilometers. In 3.89 square kilometers, there will be total 2002 villas in Palm Jebel Ali. Okay. Similarly, Palm Jumeirah, the fronds, they span around 2.6 square kilometer, and there are 1754 villas. In Palm Jebel Ali, you have 10,500 residents, okay? Whilst Palm Jumeirah, you have around the similar amount of residents. But when we do a breakdown and when we divide this, Palm Jebel Ali has a density of only 26 residents per hectare, whilst it can go up to 44 in the case of Palm Jumeirah. So you can see that Palm Jumeirah is much more dense compared to Palm Jebel Ali. And then the other thing which tells the story and elevates Palm Jebel Ali would be the FAR, the floor to area ratio. The floor to area ratio in the case of Palm Jebel Ali is only 0.8, whilst in the case of Palm Jumeirah it is 1.2, which means that Palm Jumeirah is 40% more denser than Palm Jebel Ali. Now what does this mean? This means that Palm Jebel Ali has more open spaces, more privacy, more exclusivity, and this is what villa seekers are always listing very highly on their priority list. Palm Jebel Ali is a much more low density product compared to Palm Jumeirah, and in lieu of that, the value creation in Palm Jebel Ali is going to be splendid. Now that we are discussing Palm Jumeirah and Palm Jebel Ali, I would also like to give a big kudos to Nakheel. Why? Because improving on perfection is akin to asking Da Vinci to have another go at painting the Mona Lisa, and he turns around and tells you, I did a better job than the original. So similarly, Nakheel has done their best to do justice to the legacy of Palm Jumeirah, work on it, and give an improved and a better enhanced experience which is more in sync with the time today. Now what does this mean? This means that Nakheel has elevated the experiences in Palm Jebel Ali. So if you look at these illustrations where Palm Jumeirah you had a gap of 30 meters between the fronts, yeah, it has gone up to 100 meters at the starting point. At the widest point, 400 meters to 250 meters, technically 2 times more. Now, what does this mean for you? This means for you that your neighbor is far away from you. Yeah, it's always good to have your neighbors close to you, but not in this case. So the distance between the fronds is massive, which means more open views, more privacy, and more space for water circulation, which is a splendid thing. Similarly, if you look at the length and the width of the fronds, in Palm Jebel Ali, the frond length has gone up to 2.4 kilometers, whilst in Palm Jumeirah, it is only 2 kilometers. The frond width has grown from 170 meters to 200 meters. Now, what does this do? This means a longer frond means a larger plot size, more open space, and an elevated living experience. Again, Palm Jebel Ali is pushing the boundary of exclusivity of having an address which an ultra high net worth individual would call their home. Similarly, in order to expand the horizon and give the most expansive views and aid circulation, there is another aspect which Nakheel worked on, and that is the distance between the fronds and the breakwater. This is the breakwater. So the distance between the fronds and breakwater has gone up to 640 meters. Here, it was only 450 meters. So you can see that on all fronts, Palm Jebel Ali is elevating all the aspects related to development that were there in Palm Jumeirah. Their DNA remains the same. Both of them have the same have the same DNA, have the same ethos, as in they both were created by dredging sand from the sea and then rainbowing it with the help of GPRS so that they fall in place and they form the palms. And then there is this massive breakwater which prevents the tides from washing away the palm. Yeah. Even better, Nakheel planned for the disaster case scenario as well. These islands have been vibro-compacted to make sure that they safeguard your $1 million villas from the act of God like earthquakes. So the vibro-compaction helps this structure to be solid where you can build your villa on. Yeah. Now, we were talking about amenities. I'm going to focus solely on the villas. So we'll be focusing on the spines of the two palms. If you look at the spine width in the case of Palm Jebel Ali, it is 550 meters, whilst it is 220 meters for Palm Jumeirah. Now, understand, if I'm talking about a 550 meter width for the spine, that can house more amenities. And that is the case in point here. It is laden with wellness amenities, lifestyle amenities, retail, and on this part, you will even have a wellness retreat. Now, you will be surprised. Wellness is the fastest growing industry in the world. Post-COVID, people have started indulging in themselves and taking care of themselves. In lieu of that, the wellness industry today is worth $6.8 trillion. Yeah. And by 2028, the wellness industry is supposed to hit the $9 trillion mark. And imagine if you have the wellness woven into the DNA of your development, then how is it not going to affect the property values here? So you have parks at your beck and call, you have wellness retreats at your beck and call, you have retail at your beck and call, and the space that is here is expansive. At this stage, I feel now we are poised to discuss what is there on offer or what is there that Nakheel has already launched. So Nakheel technically has launched 2 collections. Okay, my handwriting is bad, so please bear with me. I will ask my editors to make sure that you can comprehend and see whatever it is that I'm scribbling. Okay, so there was the beach collection and there was the coral collection. Now, beach collection came in 2 configurations, 5 and 6 bedrooms. Coral collection came only in 7 bed configurations. Yeah, here in the 5 and 6 bed, the built-up area was ranging anywhere between, let's say, 7,300 square foot to 8,300 square foot. Yeah, and the plot size for them was starting at 7,400 square foot. Yeah, that is the beach collection for you. Then the coral collection, which came only in 7 bedroom layouts. Yeah, here you had 2 options: 7 bed large and the 7 bed regular. They both had built up areas which ranged anywhere between 11,200 to 12,300. Yeah, that was the built up areas. Plots ranged anywhere from 13,000 to 19,000. Yeah, this was what the plot sizes were. Okay. Now, these villas, they were the epitome of grandeur, luxury, and opulence. And why am I saying that? Because there were 2 collections, but there were 16 distinct layouts and facade styles. Now, imagine if I am an ultra high net worth individual, I am spending minimum 21 million dirhams on a villa. I would want my property to shine and it should not be similar to my next door neighbor. So here, Nakheel was evolved enough to understand, and they gave the buyers the option of 16 distinct layouts. So 8 in the case of beach and 8 in the case of coral. So there is a spread of the properties that are there. They are all different. They do not look identical or factory made. When there are so many distinct layouts, you will see a nice pot puree, which will give people options to pick and choose what meets their requirements, their lifestyles and their aspirations. Yeah. So splendid by Nakheel on that front again. Now, again, I used that word before. These villas epitomized luxury. Yeah. Now, what is the definition of luxury? The definition of luxury is a state of great comfort, which often involves a hefty price tag. Now, I would say that the price tag here for these villas is not hefty, because the beach collection villas, they were initially launched at around 16 million. Last phase, they reached 21 million. And coral collection, it was starting at around 30 million. The best villas, they were selling at around 40 to 45 million dirhams max. Yeah. So fairly reasonable. Okay. And this is something that we'll explore at a later stage. Why am I calling them that they are the epitome of luxury? There is a reason to it. And the reason is the layouts that Nakheel did, they were nothing less than world class, because they were so strategic that they have given a guest bed on the ground floor. They have given a formal and a family dining and living separately. They gave you a show kitchen and a chef kitchen, thinking about, the kind of, efficiency that you would want. And if you would want to put a show for your guests, you would need a chef's kitchen, a show kitchen as well. And then they all come with the feature staircase and custom elevators. They blend convenience with elegance. Yeah. Similarly, on the first floor, they were evolved enough to give you a family living space, a master bedroom which faces to the beach. And then the game changes when you reach the top floor, because on the top floor, you have this lounge which leads you onto the terrace, where you have uninterrupted vistas of the azure blue Arabian Gulf. Similarly, they also gave the option of a custom-made pool and a custom-made shower. And since all of these properties are beachfront, there is no point to enhance that. Dubai is the lap of luxury. They spoil you for choices. The only good thing in Dubai is that they don't charge you a bomb for properties like this. So on the layout front, I feel that Nakheel has done justice to this development, where they have been sagacious and smart enough to give people what they want. There was another important aspect which I want to discuss at this stage, and that is the aspect of buying a plot. They also launched plots in 2 specs. So Premium 1 and Premium 2. Now, what are these Premium 1 and Premium 2 plots? So Premium 1 plots, they were the lower numbers on the fronts. Not really low, they are closer to the tip, they are higher than the coral collection. So the Premium 1 plots, the size of the plot was 23,900 square foot. You are allowed a GAFA of 13,900 square foot. Similarly, the Premium 2 plots, they started at 29,000 and they allow you a GAFA of almost 19,000 square foot. Now, these, in my opinion, will be the most bespoke, custom-made homes which will reflect the character of their owners. They are an opportunity for you to secure a piece of land on Palm Jebel Ali today at the fraction of a cost of Palm Jumeirah. When these villas, they are ready, you have my word. They will be the most expensive and the most sought after real estate in this market, because they will be the most unique. You will be the closest to the, to the tip, and you will have the most panoramic views, the best circulation. The horizon on the side of these villas will be a totally different. Money speaks, and this is money not speaking, it's money screaming. So I feel on the livability aspect, we are pretty much done, and I'm sure you are convinced that Palm Jebel Ali villas represent the best real estate opportunity in Dubai today. So my opinion, my advice, go grab it while it lasts. make hay while the sun still shines, and we move on to the next aspect of this investment decision, which will be music to your ears. Finally, we have reached the crowning moment. This is where numbers speak, money talks, motivation follows, and generation wealth is created. If you have persisted until now, then you have done your cause of cementing your legacy in the story of your family a world of good. So a pat on your back for that. Now, coming back to the numbers of how this investment opportunity lives up to the billing, and capital appreciation happens to be the most important aspect any investor looks at before going for an investment opportunity. So, before we set sail into the potential and the promise of Palm Jebel Ali, I want to give you a perspective. The perspective here will be that Palm Jebel Ali is not an ordinary development. Okay? It technically has a city developing around this side of Dubai. If I draw this line, there is actually a city being developed on this side. Now, as is the case, this city is being developed to accommodate the future. And I have been reiterating this fact. Now, future is fluid, is dynamic, it's evolving. This city is being built to accommodate Dubai's next growth cycle. Okay. So, in lieu of this fluidity, this dynamism, some investors may find this as a deterrent, where they may feel that God knows what will happen. Okay. Now, this God knows what will happen has no answer to it. But if we look at the history, it tells us otherwise. And why am I saying history tells us otherwise? History tells us otherwise because when you see into the recent past, when Palm Jumeirah was being developed, what was happening around it? JBR at that time was flourishing. I know it was around 2007, 2008. JBR was already a destination. Dubai Marina was still gaining momentum. It had not become a force that it is today. JLT on the other side was emerging as the FDI magnet. Okay. So a similar situation exists around Palm Jebel Ali today. If you look at it objectively, then by 2030, the new exhibition center in Expo City will be fully operational. There will be a lot of traction, a lot of momentum there. You will have the blue chip companies, the Fortune 500 companies moving here. Okay. Similarly, by 2032, Al Maktoum Airport Phase 1 will be fully completed, which means a capacity of 150 million. So we will see a lot of traction, movement from Dubai International happening to Al Maktoum Airport. Similarly, at that time, this little piece of land, DIC, would have established itself as a premier industrial hub in the region. Why? Because again, it is growing. We spoke about it, 10% increase in new companies that have started, 16% increase in the manufacturing business here that has happened. Similarly, Jafsa and Port Jebel Ali would have further cemented their status as the pillars of Dubai economy. They are any which ways growing, because if you look at trade, our non-oil trade with China today is pegged at $67 billion. With India, it's around $51 billion, where they're going to take it to $100 billion by 2030 in the next 5 years. So when we look at this city, this entire line, which again I'm going to create on this side, this very area by 2030 will be contributing 35% to Dubai's GDP. That's astounding, yeah? This area will contribute 35%. And while doing so, they will be creating 500,000 jobs. Now, my simple mathematics of 500,000 jobs times an average family of the size of 3, you are looking at 1.5 million happy residents who will be residing here. Technically, 1 in every 5 people in Dubai might be living on this side of Dubai by 2030. Yeah? So, the vision is there. The same history which was happening around Palm Jumeirah is repeating itself on this side. All that is needed on your part is to have the belief, which Dubai leaves no stone unturned to make sure that they deliver whatever they promise. We promised you we will build the tallest tower. We did it. We promised you we will do the largest reclamation projects known to mankind. We delivered them with aplomb. Now, if Dubai is saying that they're going to do the future Aerotropolis, that Expo City Dubai will be the new, the new pillar of, this area that is taking, this development that is taking shape in the south. Jebel Ali will have an urban zone that will come here. Then Dubai will deliver all this. All that is needed is faith. So have the patience, have the faith, because real estate is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So in order to get results, 4 to 5 years is the minimum horizon that you are looking at. Now, if you're ready to look at Palm Jebel Ali in this light, then the results can be splendid. Now, having established that Palm Jumeirah is the only comparable to Palm Jebel Ali, let's analyze what Palm Jebel Ali represents as an investment opportunity. Now, broken this into 3 distinct scenarios. The first scenario will entail us to understand that actually Nakheel has underpriced these villas. They have sold them at a price point where investors who invest here will make money and invest further with Nakheel. These are the hallmarks of a sagacious developer, where they are investor centric. So I'm going to establish for you that you are buying this villa at a fairly low price today, okay, which means that the upside here will be phenomenal. Okay, the second scenario that we will explore is a conservative price appreciation. What if the market does not yield the price appreciation that has happened in the villa category, where it grew by almost 19% last year? We will say that it will not grow by 19%, it will grow only by 5%. Okay, and if you can't stomach that, then I will show you the doomsday scenario. So these are the scenarios that we will be covering in order to ascertain the aspect of capital appreciation in Palm Jebel Ali. Okay, now let's start with the aspect that Palm Jebel Ali is actually underpriced. Okay, now when you look at waterfront villas, beachfront villas, not waterfront, we're talking about genuine beachfront villas, there is a scarcity. They are the rarest commodity in this market. There is only 1,500 beachfront villas in this city. Okay, and where are they concentrated? They are pretty much concentrated in Palm Jumeirah. Some of them happen to be in Bulgari Island. Then some are here in Marsal Arab. And then this guy here gives the maximum amount of beachfront villas, Palm Jumeirah. Okay, these are the 1,500 villas. They are the most rarest real estate asset class in this city. Okay, so this is an established fact. Now today, as I said, my only comparison will be Palm Jumeirah, because comparing Palm Jebel Ali to Jumeirah, Pearl Jumeirah, or Bulgari Islands or Marsal Arab, it is not a fair fight. The fair fight will be Palm Jumeirah. Now let's say, assume if I want to buy a plot, a decently high number, which gets me closer to the tip, where even in Palm Jumeirah, I have privacy and I have enough distance between me and my neighbors, because that is a major bone of contention in Palm Jumeirah. Okay, so I would say that, let's say if I buy a decently high numbered plot and I want a plot which is a fairly good size, so 13,900 is a fairly good size on closer to the tip. Now, I told you I'm going to be very conservative. Yeah, I know some people will say that, he say this is too less. Because Palm Jumeirah today, I see transactions happening at 8,000, 8,500. It can even go up to 9,000. I'll assume that it's only 6,000 dirhams per square foot. Property Monitor said it's around 6,100 average. So let's say around 6,000 dirhams per square foot, which takes my outlay to acquire the plot of land to 83.5 million dirhams. Yeah, that is my land acquisition cost. Okay. Similarly, now I want to build a villa on this. Now, when I'm building a villa, I will definitely do a good spec. Yeah. So I will again give you the benefit of doubt. You have the economies of scale working at your end, and you will be able to do a villa of a very nice luxury spec for 1,000 dirhams per square foot. Okay. This is what we are looking at. Now, if I say that the built up area, we need to calculate it. Okay. How do we calculate the built up? So my plot is 13,900. Yeah. Now, FAR, we spoke about this earlier, was 1.2 in Palm Jumeirah. I'm going to be reasonable again. I will take an FAR of 0.8. because that is what initially it was there. You can buy more FAR, okay? So with an FAR of 0.8, my GFA, which can be, which you can calculate by multiplying the plot with the FAR, comes to 11,140 square foot, yeah? I will add another 20% as an industry norm to derive my built-up area, which in this case will be around 13,400 square feet. That is the built-up area. Now, my cost of construction at 1,000 dirhams per square foot goes to 13.4 million, taking my total outlay to 97.8 million dirhams for acquiring this villa and building it. And this is without the headache, without any additional costs. This is 97.8 million. Now let's compare it to what Nakheel is doing in Palm Jebel Ali, where you can buy a coral villa of the best spec with a similar built-up area of around 12,300 square foot, bigger plot size because the plot size there range between 13 to 19,000 square foot. Yeah. You have the maximum front space because coral villas are higher numbers. Okay. And when I'm buying a villa which is 45 million above a coral villa, it will be a decently high number. So it brings me very close to the tip where I have the maximum circulation. I have a very big horizon. Water movement is great. My experience is a near beach experience. Okay. And the density is 40% lower. Okay. Even then, Palm Jebel Ali, which is the centerpiece in Vision 2040, contributing 90-kilometer beachfront, 80 resorts and hotels coming, with all of that city being developed, Nakheel is still selling you this villa only at 45 million dirhams. This is a broad daylight robbery in your favor. Nakheel is charging you almost half of what you can go, endure the headache, endure the tension, build a villa yourself in Palm Jumeirah, or trust Nakheel, trust the Dubai government, wait for 4 to 5 years, and you will have an asset which you acquired at 45 million. That too on a payment plan. You are not paying 100% today as is the case here. So this again, in my words, is a broad daylight robbery in your favor. Grab this by the scruff of the neck. Now the second scenario again will entail us to assume that Dubai real estate market is sluggish. Assume, yeah? Praise the Lord, it should never be sluggish. So Dubai real estate market is sluggish. Price growth is only 5% year on year instead of 19% in the villa category. We are talking about a segment of Dubai real estate in form of Palm Jebel Ali where there is only 13,000 properties, which out of the 325,000 handovers that will happen until 2029, there will be only 13,000 which will be between the 3,000 to 5,000 dirhams per square foot mark. Okay, so this is the segment of Dubai real estate market which is the most bulletproof. We already discussed these numbers. Yeah, you are talking about a community or a development where the prime areas in Dubai last year grew by 151%. Not last year, last 4 years. And by the way, both Jumeirah Islands and Palm Jumeirah, they both featured in this 151 price growth over the last 4 years. Okay, so you are acquiring an asset where it is a beachfront mansion. 74% of the ultra high net worth and high net worth individuals who want to move to Dubai, they want to buy a beachfront mansion. Yeah, 67% of those who are worth between 30 to 50 million dollars want to buy a house, want to buy a beachfront mansion. 57% of those worth about 50 million again want to buy a house, a permanent residence. They want to buy a beachfront mansion. Only 17% want a golf front community. So you have an asset which is by far the rarest commodity where the growth can be superlative, but we will assume it will grow only by 5%. Okay, yeah, that is a conservative scenario. So now, before we move on, again, I'm going to tell you one more thing. Today, if I want to buy a villa of the same spec in Palm Jumeirah, let's say I want to buy a decently high number ready villa in a good front, okay, there are good fronts and there are great fronts. Let's say if I focus on front G, okay, a good high numbered villa will cost me around minimum 90 million dirhams. I'm talking about a signature villa and this has been upgraded. It will cost me 90 million dirhams. And when I am comparing this to what Nakheel is selling to me in the form of a Coral Villa, I am still buying it at 45 million dirhams, which is technically 50% cheaper than whatever I am buying here. So when I am buying this at 50% lower, we will see what happens on handover. Okay. So I said 55% growth compounded over the 3 years of development. So let's say I bought this villa for 45 million, Coral collection, very good number, built up area of 12,300, plot of around 19,000 square foot. 3 years henceforth, with 5% growth only in the market, sluggish market, you are looking at 52.09 million dirhams in terms of the growth factored in 5.209, okay, which is 5% growth compounded, okay. Now on handover in the 4th year, since I bought this property 50% lower than Palm Jumeirah, and in and around 2030, Expo City gaining momentum, Al Maktoum Airport gaining momentum, DIC emerging, Jafza and Port doing better, I can say that this 50% should be added to the value of my property, because I bought a product which is a superior or more refined, a lower density product. So technically, if I add 45 million to 52 million, my Coral Villa in the next 5 years by handover should be worth 97.5 million, which is again 100% appreciation over the next 5 years. And this is me being very conservative, talking with numbers, talking with facts. And then I feel there are some who will find it difficult to stomach this. They will say that this guy is playing with numbers. So, we don't think that this villa can have this value on handover, even though all the fundamentals they align. So let me be the doomsday prophet now. Now, when I'm being the doomsday prophet, it entails me to assume no price growth. The market comes to a grinding halt, and the prices in Dubai are not appreciating. Okay. Even then, this Coral Villa, which I acquired for 45 million dirhams, which is 40% low density, better water circulation, bigger plots, the wellness oriented amenities and the wellness destination woven in, Vision 2040 and D2033 economic agenda is the core of this community. It rises at the center. We are talking about an area which will accommodate the future growth in Dubai. I still say that 0% price appreciation. Even then, when I go and sell this villa should be worth the same as Palm Jumeirah, which is 90 million dirhams, because they are similar properties, similar fundamentals, same developer, the same city, and everything else is the same. Now, if my villa on handover is 90 million, how much have I paid to the developer? I have only paid 36.8 million dirhams, including my DLD, which means 138% return on my equity, because my payment plan here is 80-20. So no matter whatever way you look at it, Palm Jebel Ali today is the most splendid opportunity in Dubai real estate market, and the only thing that you need to do is believe in the vision and wait for 4 to 5 years. As I'm saying again, real estate is not a sprint, it is a marathon. The value creation that will happen here will be phenomenal. Not many developments in this city can guarantee you results like this. This segment of Dubai real estate is bulletproof. Regret is such a wasteful companion. It adds nothing to your life except the weight of what could have been. And trust me, you would not want to be sitting in a chair across someone like me 5 years henceforth, reminiscing that I was told to invest in Palm Jebel Ali, but I thought it was way too far, it was way too expensive, it was way too soon, and I let it slip through my fingers. And here I am today on parole for a new investment opportunity. Now, if you are someone who does not let an opportunity slip the second time, then you are in the right place. to cement your legacy in the history of your family as someone whose vision, that one decision, that one signature was the catalyst for generational wealth, then please do reach out to us and do like, subscribe and share. Spread the love. This is Tarun saying sayonara until we meet again.